a brand new MMA Roasted podcast. It's me, Adam Hunter. I'm here with my man, Jake Ellenberger. Haven't seen this guy in a while. Looks good. You have a weird beard. I like it. It's like what is that exactly?
I did it for you. Yeah, it's a new style.
Is it really?
Yeah. Can you grow
a beard over here, or did you perfectly shave that, or no?
No. You know, I've had some issues. You know, I've seen a dermatologist. It's weird, man. It's the pigment of my beard, man. It's just weird.
Is it because you want everyone to see the butt chin? Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have to dress up for me.
Oh, of course. Thank you, man. Well,
yeah.
I'm here with my man, Jake. So since Jake moved to Vegas, didn't tell anybody, just got up. I'm like, hey, Jake, what are you up to today? You're like, oh, I'm on my way to Vegas. Thanks for letting everyone know. Since you've been, you were my co-host, you've had 9 kids. You have a beautiful fiance. You're taking it slow, and you're doing good. You're working as. Can I say your job, or am I allowed to say your job?
Yeah, which one?
The personal security guard.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
All right, you're a personal security guard for the Petitas, which is amazing. I mean, that's a badass job.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun.
We can take that out if you want. Want me to take that out?
I don't matter. Yeah,
okay.
It's already, you know, it don't really matter. Dana already fucking blasted it, but it doesn't matter. It's good.
Okay. Now is that from being? Now I have so many questions about that. Is that from your Marine training that you could shoot a gun really well and you could see things and know what's going on? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of training, so you know, I it's weird. I kind of fell into it, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of training as far as firearms training, but yeah, it's just literally I just got into it and work with a lot of great people, a lot of cool people. So
you have to take a course for that, like a 6-week training course or a year training course?
No, I also work with a company called Salient Operations Group. They're all former like SEALs and Marines, different military backgrounds, but they do a lot of like executive protection for different events. They do the Raiders now and
wow.
A lot of the UFC events. Yes, yeah, so they're pretty prominent here in Vegas and in California. But just some great guys though, awesome guys.
So when you travel with like the Petitas, are you behind them like in like a suit and sunglasses the whole time, or are you like in the corner, like we don't even know you're there?
No.
Like,
I don't know. I don't travel. No, I don't travel with them. So I'm just here in Vegas on property. So.
Got it. So like all of a sudden, like do people know you're around, or like are you in the corner playing poker? But you're really
playing poker. That's funny. No. When I'm working, there's no phone, buddy. But yeah, that's fun.
Oh, good. Now and then recently you did a couple of Chael Sonnen grappling tournaments. What's it called again? The Chael Sonnen
the Mission Underground.
Mission Underground. Now
have you never seen it?
I have seen it, but they always throw you in there with like a guy who's 100 pounds heavier, who's like an 8th degree black belt, and it looks like you don't even know that you're there. Like you're showing up to go to the gym, and then they're like, "Hey, want to get in there and grapple this guy?" Like, is that what happens?
Yeah, I mean, you know, things change fast. You know, and Chael's a good friend, known him for a long time. Yeah, like last time I had an opponent change. Right. Yeah. But for me, I love competing. I love grappling, and but yeah, everybody's good in submission. I mean, this black belt level or higher, and so again, it's fun for me. It's I enjoy it. It's like training, but like competing. But yeah, you know, there's some high level guys. Like, so you know when you got a guy at submission underground, there's no easy match.
No, you went up against like Gabriel Checo last time. That guy's like. Like a 6th degree black belt, like from Brazil, who's still currently fighting, and you're really, I mean, you're a black belt too. You're a badass black belt, but it seemed like that guy was a lot bigger than you.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd never seen him. I've heard his name, but yeah, when I saw him in person, I was like, he looked like he was about 220, 230. But
are you worried about them changing your opponents during the matches? I feel like one time you're gonna get the second round, you're gonna have a new opponent. It seems like that's doesn't seem very like they're stacking the odds. But you're a good sport, man. I mean, you obviously you could tell that like you could tell you're really good, but you also tell that maybe you've relied on your hands a little bit too much to get you out of fights. Because it seems like sometimes you're trying to you're like if this is a real fight, I would just pound the shit out of you.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so different. MMA is so different. It's because there's just so many more threats. There's so many things to worry about. But yeah, no, my whole 15 years in MMA has been training with strikes and with different positions. You know, there's always other ways out. But yeah, there's some of these guys that literally have been doing training jiu-jitsu their whole life. So it's in the gi, no gi. Yeah, it's completely different dynamic without striking. But yeah, I mean, like I said, he recruits the best. I mean, the top level guys. Everyone's a black belt and very good.
Now,
what about you? What's with you?
With me, things are good, man. I mean, I got my luckily my wife's mom is in town. She's staying with us for a couple days.
Oh, nice.
I actually get some work done. I don't know how you do it with you have 3 now?
I do. 3.
I have 1 2-year-old, and she just I have to constantly keep. So I'm trying to balance a career, which is hard because there's no comedy clubs open. I'm doing Zoom comedy shows. That's my career right now. And then putting out content and this and that. But at the same time, I had 2 gigs this month. Both got canceled. So it's a lot of I don't know, man. I mean, I'm doing my best, and we're saving money on a nanny because a lot of times I'm out of town, my wife works, we get a nanny, so we're saving money. But my wife's mom is like, hey, I'm going back to Fresno today, and I'm just like, all right, now it's full-time daddy duty. How do you do it with 3 kids?
This is gonna sound crazy, but it's actually easier with more kids, just in the sense for example, I have a lot of friends, even in Omaha, that have had 1 kid and they're like, no way, I'm done. Never doing it again. You know what I mean? Like that we're one and done, and they're open about that. And then I'm kind of like obviously I'm a little crazy, but I'm telling them 2 is actually makes, they have a playmate, they play with each other. It makes it a little easier. It's crazy to say, it's a lot of work in the beginning, of course, but
is it hard to make sure that they all get the attention, that you even out the attention?
Well, no, I mean, if both parents are present, it's not hard. It's really just planning, you know what I mean? Because my boys play with each other a lot, and baby girl, she sleeps still a lot, so it balances out. But yeah, it's just a lot of planning, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I thought about moving to Vegas because the real estate is so much cheaper. You get so much bit more bang for your buck. The MMA thing is there. The comedy scene's pretty good. I just I like coaching wrestling. I like a dime bar. We have friends here. We have a house. My wife has a job here. But I don't know. It's very tempting to just get up and go to Vegas because you get so much more bang for your buck.
Yeah, no, it is. I certainly like it a lot more than I thought I would, to be honest. But I've been over the last 10 years. I've been here so much.
You're also training, right? I mean, are you over at Extreme Couture or Synergy?
Yeah, there's some good training. Yeah. Couture, I train with Robert Drysdale and Couture's gym, and but I mean, there's a lot of outdoors, a lot of things to do, a lot of parks, a lot of stuff to do with the family. But
did you train with with Max Rothschild over there?
What's that?
You train with Max over at Drysdale?
Dude, yeah, he's a stud, man. I still don't get it. I can't believe the backlash, and I might be in the minority on here, but I disagreed with the whole pushback against Coach Drysdale. People were so upset and just baffled, and it's you don't understand, especially a lot of these guys in the media that don't really understand their relationship. Max has lived with Robert, and they know each other well. The guy's a stud. I've trained with him a lot. He is really good. Of course, he took the fight at short notice. You know what I mean? That's gonna play a factor. But for Rob trying to keep him in the fight and encouraging him and getting all this pushback is give me a break.
Maybe I'm the same way. Maybe I'm like an old school guy, but as a coach, you also know that your kid's gonna have to live with himself quitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that might be a lot more painful than the pounding he's going to take in the octagon in some weird way. It's like he's now going to have to live with, and in a lot of ways that he would want you to push him, even if he tells you he doesn't. Now, granted, there has to be a limit. Like after the 7th time when he says no, you go, all right.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just but get him there. Get him to make him say no 10 times, because and Max Rothschild, like you're right. I've been following him through Titan FC, and everyone's like, he's this kid was like a 2-time All-American. He was a college stud. I think he was like a Big Ten champ. You know, he also has went through a lot of trauma in his life, a lot of family trauma.
Really?
And like he told me that like he caught his dad beating the shit out of his mom, and he threw him out of a window or when he was like 6.
Yeah.
So
I've heard he is,
So I think a lot of that is what's coming into it too. If you want to really get into like some of the psychological problems that he's probably had over the years. But I was with Drysdale on that also, for real.
It's sad. The frustrating part for me is everybody's going to look at this and take it at face value. Oh, he said he wanted out. He's done. Listen, I've talked to Chael. I've talked to the guys that are the most respected guys in this space, and they all agreed with me. They agreed. If a guy wants out, there's a million ways you can stop a fight. You know what I mean? And that's nothing against Max. I think Rob did the right thing. I think that, okay, they took a risk. They took a short notice fight. He's not in shape. That's clearly what it came down to. And for Rob trying to push him, encourage him, keep him in the fight, like that's his job. You know, that's what he should do. He should do. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you get these people that are criticizing him who don't compete, like they've never been in like wrestling or any sort of mentally tough sport where you're going to need that extra, you know, you need that extra encouragement. You need those words. Like it blew my mind. I was just, even with Ariel Helwani, like when he posted that video, it was like, it just makes it, I understand how it looks. If the guy doesn't want to fight, no, you don't have to fight. You could stand up and say, hey, ref, I'm done. I don't want to. There's a million ways you can get out of a fight. But for Rob to get the pushback he did, it's complete nonsense. And, I mean, I talked to Chael about it. Chael was like, no, you're right. That's 100%. Again, if you're going to sit here and cut this out and show it to the general, you know, the general public that doesn't really understand it. They're like the casual fans, you know, that don't even really watch MMA. So that's already crazy. What we do is already out of this world anyway. You know what I mean? Then you're going to add, a guy tried to keep a guy to fight who didn't want to fight. It's like, no, he was on the fence. If you've never been in a fight, like we've all been there. He's on the fence. Man, I'm tired. I don't know if I got another run in me. Well, if you really don't want to fight, hey, ref, guess what? I'm done.
No, you're 100% right. Speaking of short notice fights, so a guy that you fought, Masvidal, who you were doing well against. I was at that fight. You got hurt. You were coming back.
There?
Yeah, I was at. You got hurt. You were coming back, and then you got your foot stuck in the cage. I don't know. I guess maybe it was kind of like one of those cartoons, Wile E. Coyote cartoons, where like, oh, there's Jake with his foot stuck in the cage again. Okay, but no, I was there. I was like almost crying after that fight because I was like, fuck, you were doing so well. You were coming back. And I think that if you hadn't got your foot stuck in the cage, that fight would have ended differently because you were rocking them and you have some obviously insane power. This fight, how do you think it's gonna go?
Yeah, you know, I first of all, I liked that this fight's happening. From a strategic standpoint, I don't think it'll be a close fight if Usman does what he does best. You know what I mean? He's a phenomenal wrestler. He can control him. What throws even more into the equation is it being 5 rounds. Nonetheless, he kind of made a good point yesterday too, being that he's got a kind of an already built-in excuse if he loses. But it's like, hey, that's 6-day notice is 6-day notice. I mean, I assume the guy was already been in the gym, been training anyway. But
well, let's talk about that.
I think it's a fun fight.
Let's talk about that point, right? So when I looked at him, I go, this guy's not been in the gym. I mean, he looks like
really,
like, you know, like what Happy Gilmore's caddy. He's hairy, he's furry. I mean, he had big belly, skinny arms when he was getting his COVID test. And I'm like, Okay. And then he went on ESPN and goes, I have to lose 23 pounds in 6 days, which if it was a normal person, I'd say, okay, but he's a weight class up than he used to fight at. He used to be a 55-pounder. So now he's 40 pounds heavier than he used to fight at, all right? That being said, I talked to a guy, Charles Rosso, who's an ATT guy. Masvidal always at the gym, even during this.
Yeah,
and
I believe that.
And he lives with his boxing instructor.
Yeah.
Boxing coach lives in his house. So
what else does he have to do? He has nothing else to do. You train.
And he trains all day, supposedly. So that being said, I mean, sometimes people look like they're at it. And he never really gets tired. I mean, he's not a guy that gasses early. Now, Colby Covington said who's trained with Masvidal for 5 years and who's fought Usman.
What did he say?
Usman's going to ragdoll him.
Yeah.
He says he's going to ragdoll him.
I think so, too. And no disrespect, Masvidal's he's a phenomenal fighter. I just think, like I said, tactically and skill-wise, it's a bad fight for Masvidal. I think Usman, if he fights, Usman's got a high fight IQ, and that's really what a lot of these, like, because there's so many wrestlers that come to the sport that some do well, some don't do well, some do horribly bad that are very skilled. But you guys got like Randy Couture, guys like that who have a very high fight IQ. And I think Usman has that. I think that I don't think it's going to be a very competitive fight. I think that, like the fans are hoping, But yeah, I got Usman by decision.
Now you're from Omaha. I think what's his name? Usman grew up in Omaha or spent time there. Did you know of him growing up?
Yeah, he went to college with my brother Joe at Nebraska Kearney. They wrestled together on the same team, and I actually wrestled him a few times in college in the opens.
How'd it go?
And he beat me. He turned me. It's funny. I walked on and just getting as many. I was already fighting, but I was getting as many matches as I could to just experience, for MMA, which is funny. But yeah, he teched me. He turned me a bunch, but he's a very good rider. He's obviously got great takedowns, but he was very well rounded in wrestling. He wasn't just a one-dimensional guy there either. But like I said, if he tactically, he should be able to. In my opinion, I thought that Gilbert Burns would be a more dangerous fight for Usman.
Well, Gilbert Burns called him out, and they train together, right? So if a guy calls you out and they train together, don't you might kind of think maybe this guy knows something?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's had a lot of experience training with him, but he also, you see what he did to Woodley. Nobody saw that, nor did I. I thought that was going to be a very competitive fight, but he got the upper hand on Woodley and early. So
now that you're no longer fighting, Woodley, tell us the truth. He says he came to practice and beat the shit out of you. And you said, remember he said he came to practice and just threw you around, and you said that never happened. You threw him around. What happened at that practice?
Woodley and I, we've never trained. We never sparred.
he said he threw you on your head, remember? And then you said that never happened. But tell us the truth.
No, well, I can assure you that didn't happen because we've never trained together. But we've listened. Woodley, we were always cool in the wrestling world. We're cool in MMA. Obviously, we got offered to fight a few times. Never happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's nothing to see here. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, but we know there. I don't remember. He was at Reign a couple times, but at the time I wasn't there.
Right.
And Mark was like, "Oh, hey, Tyrone came in," and I was like, "Oh, sweet." Like I wasn't there at the time, but no, we never trained together.
Who's the best guy you ever trained with?
I don't know. I can tell you the hardest working guys I've ever trained with. I would say Aaron Pico, like Juan Archuleta. Those are probably a couple of the hardest working guys.
No, is that because you're a little older, long in the tooth, and they were like young at the time? I mean, because remember back in the day when you were in your early 20s over at Pat Militage's gym, you don't think maybe you were doing the same shit that Pico and those guys were doing, but it didn't seem as hard?
Yeah. Well, maybe a bit, but just as far as like their work ethic
Yeah.
is insane. But yeah, as far as the best guys, that's hard to say. I've trained with so many good guys, but
What do you think it is with Pico? Because I remember there was so much hype behind him, and talk about, I guess grooming a fighter the wrong way with Bellator. You throw a guy his first fight in Madison Square Garden, a guy against who's 11-4. I think it was Jake Lindsay or somebody that they threw him up against, and it was just like, oh no. And then he fell in love with boxing, and he just wanted to and then guys like Freddie Roach were telling him that he could be a pro boxer, and that's not the case. I mean, if you were his coach, what would you tell him?
Yeah, that's tough. Aaron's it's tough because I would say, as far as like the talent and how good he is, that's all real. That's all 100% true. Could he have? And he had a lot of wrestling experience, which people don't really, obviously that's not MMA experience, but yeah, he got thrown in the deep end right away. But yeah, could it have been bad management? Sure. Is he as good as people say? Absolutely. I think he's better. I mean,
yeah,
he could easily be one of the best guys I've ever trained with. As far as skill, work ethic, mental toughness. I mean, we have these skill, like, well, it's funny when we train, we'll have these goes in wrestling where it's like crazy back and forth scrambles. And I remember wrestling him when he was 16, and I'm like, you could have been a college kid. Oh, hey Slade.
Hey Slade, how are you, buddy?
Slade, what's up, dude? You're on the podcast.
I got grapes.
Oh, he's got grapes.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. Those are cool grapes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I think with him, it's going to be like a Justin Gaethje thing where less exciting is more. Like I used to think that Gaethje was pretty beatable because of sometimes how careless he would get.
Sure.
Like when he would get into like even with the Michael Johnson guys or with Eddie Alvarez or even back in even the WSOF days when he fought who was it, Gaethje versus the Latin guy. He had those crazy wars with, I forgot the guy's name, but it was just Ponzinibbio, or not Ponzinibbio, but something that sounds like Ponzinibbio. But he would leave himself open, but it was so exciting. When he fought, but when he fought Tony Ferguson, it was a way more disciplined Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
and a lot better.
No, and even looking back on my career, with Aaron. Like I look at Pico, and man, it's never going to be. I feel like he's never going to get beat on a skill issue or a is he in shape issue. It's always going to come down to a tactic and strategy. But yeah, I completely agree. I think he has a lot of. He has the best, the best days are ahead of him. But I think with the right coaches and just the right strategy, he'll easily be at the top, no doubt.
Is that okay? Could we still do the podcast, or do you have to go, or?
No, you're good. Yeah. You're
good. Now another fight that's supposed to happen. Max Holloway, who's fighting Volkanovski. Holloway says he did no sparring for this fight and had no training partners.
Really?
That's what he says.
Do you believe that?
Well, he's not one of these guys that lies. Like if you
I know you're right.
If it was like Chael Sonnen saying that or somebody,
right.
You'd be like, okay, or even Colby Covington saying that, you'd be like, all right, this is part of the shtick. But Holloway's never lied in his life. So why is now all of a sudden? Do you believe that he did no sparring and no training partners?
Maybe it's hard. Honestly, it's hard to believe. But again, he's a guy. Yeah, he's not a guy I would think that would make that. He's a man of integrity. I don't think he'd be someone to lie. But maybe I don't. It's crazy. It's crazy to think, but perhaps.
Have you ever done that?
Perhaps. Not spar?
Yeah, want to do a fight with no sparring and no training partners?
No. Yeah, I've done some like fights with very little sparring, but still a lot of drilling and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no sparring. The whole virtual I mean, I don't know how good a training because it comes your timing. It's always comes down to timing and keeping the skills sharp. But I mean, if he listen, if that's true and he goes through and beats God bless. That's amazing. God
I
bless.
mean, I'm about to put like a lot of money. I'm not a lot of money, but I might make a bet, and it's not gonna be a Max Holloway after hearing that. You know, one guy's 23 pounds, taking the fight on 6 days' notice. The other guy has no sparring. Are they just trying to fuck up the odds, or like, how could you, you know, in good faith, make these bets?
I know. It's like, is there something we don't know here? I don't know, but and being over there in Abu Dhabi too, it's like there's so much. It's such a weird time. You know what I mean? So like even these sports books, it's like, man, it'd be really tough to make a lot of these lines for especially this weekend and the next. But there's so many fights that are close. And then I was looking at Paige Van Zandt's fight. The gal she's fighting is a huge favorite.
Negative 900 favorite.
I couldn't believe. I was like, wow, that surprised me.
Negative 900. Like, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't see those lines unless like it was GSP or John Jones. Then you see like a 900 or 1100. Like that's why I was like, what's going on? Is this girl like, you know, is she the next Amanda Nunes? Like, what are we not seeing here?
Well, she's the one that beat the jiu-jitsu girl, right? She beat the girl with the fake accent. What's her name?
Fake accent.
You know, the one that tapped out Gabby Garcia back in the day in jiu-jitsu. She's the prodigy. The girl she's from Arizona, but everyone thinks she's from Brazil or you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Had a great ass, just had a baby. Who am I thinking of?
Mackenzie Dern?
Yeah, Mackenzie Dern. Isn't she the one that beat Mackenzie Dern? I think she's the one that beat Mackenzie Dern. She gave
okay. Gotcha.
So, by the way, so we got Sean McCorkle here, by the way, Ellenberger. Sean McCorkle, we got Jake Ellenberger. Sean always does a McCorkle minute comedy set. It's a 3-minute comedy set. McCorkle's in his car, probably doing some kind of shady delivery. But he's one of my favorite people. The man who tapped out Mark Hunt in 59 seconds, okay? The man that was in Bellator. He was in the UFC. He fought in Ryzen. He fought in that Polish. He beat Mario Pujanowski in the first round.
World's strongest man.
World's strongest man.
That's awesome.
Give it up for my friend, Sean McCorkle. Let him know.
Looking at this video, I know I'm the world's biggest face also. God, I got to get off the carbs. No, I'm up here at a Cadillac dealership, man. I bought an Escalade last week because what better to do when the economy's crashing than spend money on an Escalade? And they charged me a $299 fee that they said went to the BMV. And so I've been arguing with them literally all day. It's the third dealership of that company I've gone to arguing with people. So that's where I'm at. Doing something kind of shady, but getting my money back. Anyway, that's really boring. As far as the McCorkle minute goes, you guys, I was seeing today that, you know, George Masvidal, Street Jesus, got his new deal. He was wanting really bad. He said he had to sign a 10-fight contract. And they asked Dana about it. And he said, this is nothing new to us. You know, for 20 years, we've been getting things done. We're the only ones putting on sporting events during this pandemic. We can always do amazing things. And I was thinking about Dana. It's awesome, man. Like, Dana's an inspiration to people everywhere. It's just proof that with enough hard work, dedication, and billionaire childhood friends, you can accomplish anything.
It's true.
Just joking. But,
that's Jake's boss, by the way. But, all right, go on.
Perfect. I love Dana. Dana's awesome. That said, so Kamaru Usman was saying that he doesn't. They're saying the BMF belt, I guess, isn't on the line. That's what they were saying for this, which I find kind of odd. I thought that, when are you going to defend it? I guess he's not bad enough to do it. But he was saying that even if he won the belt, he would just put it in the closet. He said just throw it in his closet. But he's going to have to wait till Brendan Schaub comes out of it in order for him to have room to put the. So that's going to be an issue. Also, so Mike Tyson's making his comeback. He's John Jones of all people wants to fight him, which is weird. I don't see Tyson coming back for a fight in the octagon, but John Jones said he'll box him if he'll fight him in the octagon. And so a lot of people are saying, how is John Jones going to, maybe try to use his reach? How in the world can he, even compete with Tyson in a boxing ring? And John Jones, I read, actually said he plans on standing there and trading with him. He said he's not going to hit him and run. That's not his style. So in addition to taking COVID tests before the fight, they're probably going to take pregnancy tests also.
Well, yeah.
So, I had another joke, but it's probably a little too hot for TV.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's see.
Let's hear it.
I'll tell you an awesome story about someone I know real quick.
Okay.
You know, PEDs are a big thing. This is a true story. PEDs are a big thing in MMA, you know, the UFC. Everybody's talking about it. I love steroids personally, but Adam knows that. But I'm taking HGH right now. It's amazing. Like everything heals right away. Apparently, it doesn't make your face get skinnier, but it does make everything heal really fast. So back in the day when I was trying to lose weight to make the UFC, you know, like I walked around with like 11% body fat at 325. You know, like I started to get abs about. Just, I had one of my fighter friends tell me that he had a fat burner that would I don't want to reveal who. He had a fat burner that would help me out. It would help me lose weight really fast. So I ended up taking it, you know, but he said just take one in the morning, one before you work out. I take one morning and I start feeling feverish and sick, and I decide not to work out that day. So I feel a little better later on. I take another one before I go work out. Again, felt sick. So this happens 3 days in a row. So finally I decided to like look up this supplement, like maybe I'm having an allergic reaction or adverse reaction to it. So I look it up and look up side effects, and it's like if your horse has trouble breathing.
Oh, God.
If your horse begins to have seizures, and I was like, wait, your horse? And so apparently it was a horse asthma medicine given to me as a fat burner. And,
Wow.
so I hit the fighter up and asked him, I said, mother effer, did you give me a horse asthma medicine and tell me that was a fat burner? He goes, yeah, it's great. It makes your temperature run like 103 all day, so you just burn fat all day.
Oh, come on.
In your mind, I was like, dude, you know how bad that is for you? He goes, well, I've never taken it. I don't know, but I assume it's probably not good. So he gave it to me, and I thought it was just a supplement. It turns out it was a horse asthma medicine. So, 100, 203 feet for days to cut weight. One day I'll write a book, and no one will read it, but
I'll read it.
For doing that, because he was one of these guys that cracked me up. He was criminally charged if they're on PEDs. Meanwhile, he'd be looking at 30 felony counts if that were the case. Wow. Like, you know, I mean, immediately he's like, I can't like that. I'm like, dude, I'm giving you injections everything in the world. What are you talking about? Horse asthma medicine, but he took everything else. So,
well, thank you, McCorkle. We'll see you next week, brother. You're the best.
Awesome.
Be safe out there. I love you, man.
Love everybody.
All right. So before we go on a little more, I want to say, listen, people, we heard all the rumors, but the wait is finally over. Jake, it's over. Fight Island is primed and ready to go. This Saturday night, the fighters will be taking the talents to Abu Dhabi. I've been to Abu Dhabi on a military tour. It's a beautiful place. It's UFC 251. The lineup of fights this week is the best one yet. And DraftKings, which is the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is putting you in the center of the action starting this Thursday with a free shot at a $1 million top prize. $1 million top. I can use $1 million bucks. You, Jake?
Sure, of course.
Now, if you haven't tried it yet, fantasy MMA is easy to play. Really easy. You just pick 6 fighters, stay underneath the salary cap, and pile up points for advantages, takedowns, and more. No better way to play than to put your MMA knowledge to the test and to compete for a shot at $1 million. But if MMA is not your thing, don't worry. DraftKings is offering plenty of fantasy golf as well for this week's tournament. So now, with millions of dollars up for grabs this week, there's no better place to have skin in the game than with DraftKings. Trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, call to action. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code ROASTED to get a free shot at the $1 million top prize for this weekend's UFC 251 contest for your first deposit. That's promo code ROASTED to get a free shot at $1 million with your first deposit. Only at DraftKings. There's a minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Yes, DraftKings. Check it out. Jake. Hello.
Yo,
what's up, man?
what's happening?
So by the way, so Frankie Edgar, his opponent's out because he tested positive for COVID.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
I just saw that fight was off, and I was like, damn, why? I mean, Pedro's a great guy. I know the guy. But damn, that's too bad.
Now it seems like there's like a thing of like who wants to fight Frankie Edgar. It's like it's crazy. I know that some people are saying Aljamain Sterling might fight him. I know Jimmy Rivera wants to fight him. Cheeto Rivera wants to fight him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Aljamain would be a good fight for him. It'd be a tough fight for him, but it'd be good for Frankie because if he wins, he's right there.
Yeah, no, for some reason I thought they trained. Never mind. I thought they trained together, but no, they're both up. Yeah, I got you. New Jersey, New York. All right, we're good.
Who do you think wins that fight?
With Aljamain.
Yeah.
He's a stud. It kind of just depends if he shows up like his last fight. Dude, first of all, let me back up. Frankie is got to be one of my favorite fighters of all time. Just, I mean, look at the guy's career. I remember, when he fought the Gray Maynard fights. I mean, he's, the guy has had an incredible career. It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a young man's sport. It's a young man's sport. It's not it's tough to keep fighting these young, the next hungry guy. But it's hard to say. I mean, Aljamain looked great in his last fight. He could certainly get the W on him, but is he in shape? That kind of thing. All those questions come in play.
Right. Now let's talk about you, because you moved to Vegas, which is the fight capital of the world. Did you have you been how do you do against? Are you going to the pro practices?
What's that?
Pro. You're going to the pro practices. Now,
yeah.
How do you do in there? Are you in shape? Are you beating up some of these pros or what?
Well, see, Adam, I'm not. I help a lot. There's a few guys that I help train. I don't go in there and just spar. No, there's there's absolutely no point of that. I've sparred enough rounds in my life and had enough fights, but no, I do. I like, Eric's asked me to come in there and help, sometimes help coach, and just it's a cool idea. There's a lot of guys at the tours, but there's always a few people who have fights coming up and just kind of seeing their strategies. And
you seem really nice and laid back. Do you ever so you go there, you see a guy who's fighting for, let's say, Bellator, and you're like, I could help this guy. How do you approach him? Do you say, listen, buddy, you're coming in with your left?
No, this isn't a charity. I'm not helping him. No, hell no. I got guys that I actually like, people that I like, and I'll help, But no, there's last week I got to train with Randy and Jay Haran was there, a bunch of guys that I've known for a while, so it was cool. It is cool, but
Randy's still training? Randy Couture?
Yeah, he was training last week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does he do?
You know what? The guy is incredible. His awareness, like the natural. The guy. He's a hard round for everybody, man. It's fun. It's good. It's just cool to see that. It's inspiring. He did last week, yeah.
Who do you go against? Ngannou?
Yeah.
No. Randy was sparring Ngannou?
Yeah, he sparred with a bunch of guys. I got to do a round with him, but yeah, he did.
Wait, no. Yeah. Francis Ngannou, the heavyweight, the huge.
Correct.
Was sparring with Randy Couture.
Correct.
And that was Francis. Are you making this up?
I'm not making this up.
Was Francis throwing crazy bombs at him? Was he trying to knock him out?
Well, no. Let's be respectful here. No, Francis is a giant human, a giant scary human. But no, they were working for sure. But no, it wasn't like trying to knock him out. No way.
Was Randy getting takedowns on him?
I don't remember, to be honest. I'm not gonna go into that.
Wow. So Randy Couture,
that happened. Yeah.
You heard it here first, people. Randy Couture fucked up Ngannou in the gym.
I didn't say that.
People post this everywhere. No, that's okay. So and then what about Tim Johnson? Is he over there too?
Who's that?
Tim Johnson.
Yeah, the gym's been busy. Last week there was probably 60 people sparring. There's a lot of. Both mats are filled, but.
Do you train over with Jay Haran?
Yeah, he was. We didn't train last week, but yeah, he was in there. He comes in once.
Do you guys still have beef or no?
No. Yeah, we're cool. Yeah. He's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
You guys squashed it because I know that you guys fought twice. It's 1-1.
We never really had beef. He was my first loss, and then obviously I came back and beat him in the UFC. But 1-1. But no, we
like Rocky 3 at the end of Rocky 3 when he goes, I gotta have one more thing, and they do the last round of sparring, but we don't know who won. Was it like
no? No.
Oh, okay.
No, he is. No, he gets after it. He gets in there and gets after it. But
now there are a lot of hot women that train there, a lot of hot girls, and you have a very hot wife.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Do the girls
I
ever
would've
see
kinda
do girls ever see your wife and be like, because I know sometimes girls see you with a hot girl and they get competitive and they try to see if they can win you over. Do they ever come up to you and they're like, oh, well, he's got a hot wife. Let me try to, see if I could beat her through him?
Not really. No. I mean, everyone's very respectful in the gym. There's not. First of all, there's not a lot of females that train there
Right.
anyway. But no, the ones that are, they're very respectful. And
How's Brad Tavares doing?
I'm pretty. Adam, listen, I'm pretty boring. You know what I mean? I'm not. I know I had some wilder days earlier in my life, but I'm pretty boring right now. I get to I train, I work out, I work, I got kids, but yeah, I'm pretty boring.
What are you talking about boring? Back in the day, you were like, Jake Ellenberger. I remember telling me that there was like all kinds of shows you were going, like there was like festivals, and you were going to this girl's house, that friend with the big boobs, you know what I'm talking about, and that's where you met your wife. And you guys were like, it was like 3-day, like Woodstock in Orange County with topless women everywhere.
I'm not sure what that means, huh?
It doesn't happen anymore, huh? It's over for you. All right.
No.
All right. Let's
now it's 3 kids.
Let's preview some of the let's preview some of the fights this week. All right. So this LFA fight in South Dakota, Justin Gonzalez versus Jake Childers. Who wins?
Who is it?
Forget it. All right. So it was an LFA fight.
Oh, my bad.
All right. So Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo.
Who else is doing shows besides UFC? Anybody or no?
The LFA.
Just the LFA. Okay. No Bellator, not yet.
No, and then also the KSW. Okay. Norman Park is fighting.
I like him. Nice guy.
Yeah, he's fighting guys 14-0. Matthias Gamrot, and then Marcin Warlsek. I don't know who that is, but yeah.
Again, Norman Park.
Bunch of guys with a lot of vowels in their names. All right,
who do you got? Oh, we're talking about the UFC.
UFC. Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo.
Yan, yeah. It'll be a good fight, but Jan's he's kind of the young blood. I think he's gonna get it. But
I know. I don't even know why Aldo gets this fight. This is for a title.
Yeah, isn't you said it's for a title, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting. I'm sure he's making a good payday for that. So.
Do you think Cejudo's gonna stay retired?
No chance. No chance.
It's a strictly money grab, right?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he certainly is going to fight again, no doubt about it. Now, especially when you can start, asking for the bigger paydays. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Now, Sean mentioned Tyson versus John Jones at a boxing match. Who wins that?
No
Tyson,
chance.
Right? Tyson wins, right?
53? Is that how old he is?
Yeah, but it's just boxing.
That doesn't.
You think John Jones beats him in a boxing match?
How many rounds?
Let's say 6.
If it's 3 rounds, Tyson.
If it goes over 3, John Jones.
I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm trying to think with the youth that John has. I'm not even talking skill. It's like, man, they got a guy 20 years younger.
Yeah, but there are a lot of. I'm 20 years younger than Tyson. I can't fucking mug. 20. Still. Yeah, but still, Mike Tyson. He looks great. Have you seen him?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's training with Rafael Cordero.
Which is also crazy.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah. How did he do that? Because he looked obese, like 2 years ago. He looked like he was huge, and now he looks like a bodybuilder. How does someone do that, Jake?
Well, I would imagine it's a lot of hard work and working out. I'm not a mathematician, but I think it's a.
Do you think there's any PRT involved or HGH?
Perhaps. I don't know. I can only speculate, Adam.
Got it. All right, Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Thug Rose. But
Really?
That's a good fight. They fought once, right?
Yeah, Jessica threw on her head. She was winning.
Oh yeah,
Jessica
yeah.
just
That was
spiked her.
scary. That was
Yeah.
scary. You know, and Rose, I mean, she is a very you know, that's a perfect example of you can't judge a book by its cover. She doesn't look like the scary lion that she is, but she is she's a beast though. I'm gonna go with Rose.
The thing is, I wish she would have had like one or two mental fights to come back, because I feel like she's also extremely mental. Like, remember she was supposed to fight on that Conor McGregor card and pulled out when McGregor, well, no, the Khabib card, when Conor threw the dolly.
Oh yeah.
For her, and she seems like she's also like she's got a lot of emotional issues, and I love Thug Rose, but when somebody slams you on your head like that, and people presume that you're dead, and then your first fight back is against that same person, that's rough. I wish there was a fight in between, or two.
Yeah, I know that's one of those things too. It's like, from a business standpoint, when you have somebody who's, well, for a former champion, but also very highly paid, you know, you're looking at the P&L on the sheet. Like, you can't give him, you know, you're paying him. If you hypothetically, let's say you're paying somebody $200,000, you can't just give him a brand, someone new who's getting, you know, like, it just it's kind of like Ronda, you know what I mean? Like, once you're the champ and you're in that position,
Yeah,
it's hard to give somebody, there's no gimme fights. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, even somebody who's dominated and they come back and, like, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no let's
like
get some.
boxing, but they'll give you like a number 10 guy or 12 guy, get your foot back, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, I agree with you though. I think that people, it's not like boxing where you can get a few gimmies, you know, get your head in the right space, get in the right routine, and get back to the top. But I mean, it is a very unforgiving sport, no doubt.
So, like we said, Paige Van Zandt versus Amanda Ribas, who's a negative 900 underdog, which is crazy. And then who do we like in that
I got
fight?
Paige with the upset.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, you're good friends with Austin, though, right?
Huh?
Aren't you good friends with her man or boyfriend?
Who's that?
Austin Vanderkirk.
Yeah. No, he's a good dude.
Yeah, you guys are a lot alike. Both hardworking guys, blue collar, girls above your pay grade. I like it.
Fair play, Adam. Fair play.
I like him a lot. I think he's a good dude. I like Paige a lot.
Awesome,
I like both of them. Paige is like so pretty. I can't even look at her when I see her, because I have to like, I don't know. I feel like she's just a really pretty person. Very attractive girl. All right. So we got Andre Fili joining us, by the way, Jake. So, yeah.
Awesome.
How's it going? Touchy Fili, how are you? You're on the podcast
What up?
with me and Jake Ellenberger. How you doing, man?
boy? What up?
Cruising. What's up, guys?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Life is good. What's up, brother?
You're moving?
Yeah, dude. I'm in the middle of. I just packed up I have a fucking comic book room that I just packed up, and now I got to pack up my actual room. And this fucking idiot's not helping at all.
Where are you moving to?
I am. So my roommate. I live with another fighter. I think you'll see him in the UFC pretty soon here. His name's Anthony Avila. He just bought a house, and so we're moving to his place. And then I actually just found out today that my offer got approved to buy my first home. So I'm moving in with him. Another neighborhood in Sacramento. I'll live with him for a couple months, and then when my house is done with escrow, I'm moving to my first house. So I'm really stoked.
Congratulations, man. Well, you deserve it. You deserve
Thank
to
you.
fucking have like 6 houses the way you're fighting. Holy shit.
I'm working on it, dude. I'm working on it. Shit.
How did you break your hand in the fight? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I fractured it. It was just kind of a weird, like, freak thing. I think because we were fighting opposite stance, I just caught him at a weird angle. And it's not even really the knuckles that I punch with. I just kind of clipped my thumb weird, and I think it sort of bent back and fractured where my thumb meets my wrist. So I had a pretty easy surgery. I got pins in it right now. 2 weeks I get the pins out and the cast off, and then hopefully get back to training. You know, I'm still training now, but I'm working around the cast. It's kind of fucking difficult, but I'm staying in shape. hopefully fighting Bryce Mitchell in October. So I mean,
Wow.
I'm getting ready for that.
That's gonna be a fight and a half.
Yeah, dude, that he's fucking good, dude. And he's tough. He's entertaining. That's the kind of fights I want to have. Like, you know, I'm trying to win fights. I'm trying to win fights against guys with big names and put on exciting fights and get paid, do all the things, you know. But it's important to me when I'm done, no one will ever be able to say I was in a boring fight. You know what I mean? So
Dude,
that's
that last fight you had me, I was like really worried about you in the first.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
yeah, dude, that kid snuck a fucking. I thought I didn't even know what he hit me with until I went back and watched the fight. I didn't see the left hand at all. Like he snuck it in good. I didn't see the shot at all, and those are the ones that can hurt you. So, you know, I was just watching the fight recently, and I was laughing because he fucking spun me around with that left hand. It was a hell of a shot. But knock on wood. I'm fucking. Yeah, you got to hit me with a fucking. You got to hit me with a fucking baseball bat. You know, even then you need a new bat.
Back harder from behind than Anderson Cooper, man. I mean, that was that.
Oh.
I really thought that you were like, how did someone recover so quick?
I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it. I just kind of was in the fight. You know, like it wasn't a conscious choice. Like I just fucking looked up. 1 minute I was fighting on my feet, and the next minute his goofy ass was on top of me, like in my face. Now I'm on my back. I'm like, all right, well, keep the feet on the hips, active open guard, and get this motherfucker off me so I can get back to punching him. It just
Jake, that ever happened to you? You ever have a fight where like 1 minute you're on the feet, next minute some guys on top of you?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
What fight was that for you?
Oh geez, there's been some fights where you've been hit and you're like, kind of fast forward a few seconds, you're like,
yeah,
shit.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I got clipped, and then all of a sudden he was on top of me, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that we need to move now. Like I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that it wasn't what I wanted. So let's get the fuck out of here. It's not like a conscious thing. It's more just like you just got to hurry up and get back to your feet. I think I was winning that round, and I think he clipped me. So it's obviously got to be 10-9 him, but I think I was winning the round, like decidedly winning the round before he caught me and after he caught me, even after he had rocked me. So,
I mean, it was awesome. And you came back with a vengeance. I mean, you were doing you get better every single fight, man.
Thank you. I'm trying, man. I'm never happy with my performances, to be honest, man. Doesn't really matter. Like, there have been a couple, you know, like the fight in SAC where I knocked out Shaman, like that was a good feeling. You know, it was cool to get that win in my home city. Like, there are times where, you know, I'm excited about a win or something. I'm always excited to win, but I'm almost never like happy with my performance. I just go back and watch that fight. I just see things that need to be fixed. You know, I see improvement, and I see things that I want to keep, and I'm proud of myself for doing, but it's just, there's just always room for improvement, man. Like I really, you know, I want to be the best 45er in the world. You know, I want to be.
I was in Jersey, and there was a guy who's like, he's in another organization. He's probably the number one jiu-jitsu guy in the world. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, this fucking kid came and sparred me today. He was amazing. And he was talking about you. I'm not going to say who it is. I don't want to blow up a spot. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But he was floored with how good you were.
That means a lot, man. Thank you. Hell yeah. It's coming together, man. I think I've had ups and downs in the cage over the past couple of years were rough. The last year or two have been great. There was a rough spot for about 3 years there, and you know, it's embarrassing almost to admit, but I don't think it was physical. It was just all mental. I was just, you know, it was bullshit here, or you know, not getting my head in the right place, or not putting in a huge part of the game for me now is mental training. You know, is working with a sports psychologist and really taking a look. Like I feel like I'm a pretty analytical guy, you know. So for a while I was ignoring sort of the whys, you know, the reasons why, or taking a hard look at what works for me and what doesn't. I kind of got into this rhythm where I wasn't in a good headspace mentally, and I just kind of treated fighting like work. You know, it was like, just show up, get the training, go win the fight. You know, I didn't take a step back and appreciate how cool it is to get to fight in the fucking UFC and do what I've been wanting to do my whole life. And I didn't take a hard look at the reasons why. You know, it turned into a job for me, and now I'm back in love with it, and it's the results are night and day. You know, I feel completely different. You know, and it's a beautiful thing for sure.
Jake, that ever happened to you?
Yeah, no, I can agree completely, man. Like it's tough because when you get in such a routine of training and training camps and preparing for fights, it kind of turns into a job. You're just showing up at the gym, you know, instead of again taking a little break, you know, maybe you reset mentally and falling in love. You know, you remember what you're doing or remember why you're there. So I completely agree. I found myself there a bunch of times, you know, over the last few years of my career. It was just needed to take a break or take a little vacation to get away. You know what I mean? Just to kind of reset. But dude, I feel it for sure.
Yeah, it's. I think it's also. I mean, you can probably test this. You've done it a long time. It's one of those things where when you're young and you're like, I'm gonna be in the fucking UFC, and then you get to the UFC and you're excited about that, and you take a tough loss or you have something happen in your personal life where you sort of get to this point where you're a kid and you want to make it, and then you start to make it, and then things don't go according to plan, and you get to a place where you're like, damn. You wake up in the morning and you have to fall back on the discipline because the passion isn't there. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's anything that a human being can be passionately in love with every day for 15 years. Like whether it's a person, a car, a house, a job, an animal. Like I don't think you can. I mean, I don't think there's anything that a human being can be like, I love this every morning of every day for 15 years, you know, so I just sort of hit that patch, but I hit it young because I started so young. So it's I was training by 15. So by 23 or 24, I'm almost a decade in the game, you know, and I'm waking up and it feels like a job, you know? So I had to sort of reset and remember dude, this is what I you know, on my worst day fighting, on the shittiest day training, it's still better than a fucking office job, you know? 15-year-old me would fucking kill to be where I'm at, you know? And you got to keep that in mind.
Stand-up comedy is the same way. As soon as I start looking at other people going, why am I there, and forget about where I came from.
Right.
21 years ago, I was on the streets of New York City giving out flyers and forming a donut shop in supermarkets. I was literally on True Life. I'm a comic in a laundromat doing comedy. It's it's documented. So then I go, well, fuck. Now I'm on a billboard in Vegas, but that's not enough because I'm looking at Chris D'Elia, who's in front of a Netflix special, and I'm going, what the fuck? How come I'm not? You know, it's really important to not get carried away with that.
Right. It's easy, dude. It's easy to start comparing. Chris D'Elia probably right now isn't the guy you want to be anyways.
Well, now he's on To Catch a Predator, but before that, he's on
if there's a guy to not be, it's that fucking big.
Yeah, exactly. I think. Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, by the way, how's your rap career? I think you're the best rapper in MMA.
Okay. Before we move on to that, I actually think that's a huge testament. Now that we're kind of speaking it out loud, how much does that speak to not comparing yourself to others? Because in your head, you're like, fuck, man, I made it so far, but I'm not where Chris D'Elia is. I'm not, you know, I'm not fucking. I don't have the Netflix special yet. And then you look at this person, not even him specifically, but it's kind of a testament. You look at a person and go, man, look how fucking good his life is. And now that all changes. That all changes overnight. You look at that guy a week ago or a month ago or 3 months ago, you look at that guy and be like, yeah, I'd probably trade him lives. And now you look at it, you're like, fuck that guy. I'm so happy. You never know what is actually going on in people's lives, man. And it sounds corny, but there's no life better than the one that you're fucking living, man. If you're doing what makes you happy and you're doing good and you're putting good out in the world, man, you can't compare your life to anybody else's, you know? And I think that example specifically speaks to that, you know?
Well, I think also a lot of times when I start to do that, I go, yeah, you know, look at Theo Vaughn, he's on XYZ and look at his numbers and my numbers. But then I go, well, look at my fucking wife who I love, and look at my daughter, and look at this. So you got it's not just one thing. I think people get
100%.
Whenever you just focus on that one result in that one thing, it can really fuck you up. You have to have a whole life around besides just
the comparative mindset, man. It's definitely toxic. I remember when I was younger, Like when I first in the UFC, and you look at the guys, like man, look at this guy's life must be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to do. It's easy to compare, you know. But
yeah.
Again,
I think oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, even like Adam, like I remember when I first started fighting, and my dream was like, dude, one day, if I could fight one time in the UFC, you know what I mean? That's it. My life would be complete. And you know what I mean? And then I ended up fighting 22 times. So it's like my original goal was to fight one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's even like you can't compare. It's honestly, man, it comes down to realizing like you got to do the best you can every day, but you don't really know shit. Like if you right now were to talk to you back then and whose goal was like, if I could just fight in the UFC once, you right now would be like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're gonna fight 24 times. Like, and I think for me, like I just turned 30 a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago, and for me now at this age, I feel the same. It's just that now I've seen more, like the bigger picture's got like the my ability to see the picture has gotten a little bigger, and the real revelation is that I can sit back and be like, okay, I see more at 30 than I did at 20, but the difference is now I understand, like, I still probably don't see shit. Like, when I'm 50, I'll look back at right now. But at least having the understanding of, like, look, I don't actually know. Like, I don't know what that guy's life is. I don't know what my life will be in 10 years. Like, all I can do is fucking appreciate where I'm at right now and just be fucking excited to do the best I can. And it sounds kind of corny. It sounds kind of like hippie or whatever, but it's like, that's it, dude. Like, you got to just fucking be excited about what you do and do the fucking best you can. Everything else is just fucking noise, man.
100% right.
But I'm the best rapper. I'm the best rapper in MMA.
You are the best rapper. Jake, he legit has like a whole squad of rappers, and they put out like really good music. Any new stuff coming out?
I've really been focusing on I'm in a band called Born Breach. It's on Spotify. You guys can check it out. We dropped like a little 5-song EP. We're gonna do another piece of music. It's been hectic, man. Like I stopped focusing on music for a while because I was in fight camp, and then I went from fight camp to fight. Like I went to fight week, and then I won the fight. I had surgery, and now I'm moving and buying a house. So it's been like 2 or 3 months of not being able to focus on the band, but I am still cooking up music. The band has been my main musical focus. So
you're also a movie star too. You're at a movie on it's on iTunes, right?
Yeah, it's on the movie is on Amazon Prime, Amazon Video.
Amazon Prime. And what's the movie called?
Yeah. It's called Green Rush.
Jake, he's the lead in a movie, and you play this like drug lord.
No, I'm not the lead. I'm a supporting guy, but I play like a sketchy weed farmer cousin. which like I'm from Northern California, so I basically played every dude I went to high school with. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, you told me you had an ankle bracelet on during high school.
No, like the year after high school. I had an ankle bracelet. I had an ankle monitor. I had a house arrest ankle monitor on when I joined Team Alpha Male.
I would have loved to see their faces when you walk in with an ankle.
Oh, dude. Dude. Everybody was just like, who the fuck is this idiot? Like, I had a mohawk with the sides of my head tattooed. I had an ankle monitor on. And I was just I'm the same kid. I was just loud and obnoxious as fuck. And like now when I make stupid jokes at Alpha Male, like maybe half the room will laugh because like they know me and they know my sense of humor. Like if I get half the room, I'm doing good. When I was like 19, I would make jokes and nobody would. I mean, it would be crickets, dude. I'd make a joke. I'm used to like my group of friends who are just like, we just say awful like shock value shit and roast the fuck out of each other every chance we get. Like just say the most hurtful personal shit just as a form of affection, you know, like so I'm used to that. And then I come to Alpha Male and all those guys, you know, they have, you know, like the guys at Alpha Male have a sense of humor. There's a brotherly love, but I'm just such a fucking I don't know. I don't know. I'm an acquired taste. I'm an acquired taste, dude.
No, dude, you're talking to somebody whose whole career is an acquired taste. Now, would Cody No Love at least fucking laugh at you or no?
I gotta run.
Say
Brother.
again.
You gotta leave.
Sorry. Yeah, I gotta run.
Would
All
Cody?
good.
Go,
Good to see
would,
you,
uh,
brother.
would Cody? Thanks, Jake.
You too, brother. Good to see you, man.
Where can people find you, Jake?
What's up?
Where can people find you?
Ellenberger MMA.
Ellenberger.
Twitter, Instagram. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Congrats on the last fight.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks,
Definitely.
dog.
So would Cody at least laugh or no?
Yeah, Cody. I'll get a chuckle out of Cody. I'll get. So if I make a joke, it's some of the younger. I mean, that shows you my maturity level, I guess. It's the younger dudes who laugh. The dudes who are kind of the other like outcast dudes on the team, like some of the dudes I kind of came up with, will laugh. Danny will give me like a disappointed, just like he'll laugh, but in a way where he's just like, I can't, like, he'll just be like, I can't believe I'm still like treat you as my own. Like he'll kind of like begrudgingly chuckle to himself under his breath and then like talk shit and like give me a look like the last call face. We just like can't believe like that he accepts me as one of his own. Uriah will take like a long like 10-second pause to look at me and like look at the room and then like laugh to himself, but it's more of like a disappointed father laugh.
And Chad Mendez, does he find any of this funny?
Mendez, dude. Honestly, of all the OG dudes, Mendez thinks I'm. I think Mendez and Benavidez, like me and Benavidez, have the same sort of sick humor, and then so me and Benavidez have very similar like just fucking sick idiot humor, and then Mendez is like such a sweet, nice dude, but he's just he like Benavidez laughs at my jokes because we have the same humor. Chad laughs at my jokes because we have completely different humors, but he just loves to see a spectacle. Like he's a nice guy that like just loves to watch a spectacle.
I could totally say. Well, he's fighting with Bisping right now, and then he told me, him and Bisping are in like a war.
Over what? I didn't know.
On like Instagram, not really a war. I think something where like something about steroids came up, or like Bisping had Tim Kennedy's back because Tim Kennedy talked about like not wearing masks or something, or how, you know, just like the whole mask versus not mask versus quarantine, you know, the whole thing. And they're still on opposite sides of like the spectrum. And Mendez is a hunter, so he took Tim Kennedy's size because they have the hunting thing. And then Bisping got mad and he goes, "This guy's a fucking roided up juice monkey, whatever. He never made it." And then Mendez called him a wooden eye pirate or something, and it just kept going.
You know, I obviously I got Chad's back. Chad's my fucking brother. I'll sock somebody for Chad. But I have a great respect. I mean, Chad's my brother. I have a great deal of respect for Bisping because he's just continually such a prick. But he's himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a continual prick, but he's been a prick for a decade. Like he's just, and I have a great deal of respect for genuine people, like, you know, so yeah, I could definitely see them butting heads for sure. That's pretty funny. I have to go. Is it on Twitter or what? Instagram?
Yeah, it's on Instagram.
Man, I'm so fucking I'm so out of the loop with so many things. I only go on Twitter to tweet about comic books and nerd shit, and then and argue with nerds about what Spider-Man powers are valid and what aren't. And then my Instagram, all I do is I look at fights, I look at fighting, but I look at like motorcycles and like hot chicks and tattoos and dogs. Like I
Does a girl get mad if you like a hot chick's picture?
No, she doesn't. Not really. I mean, I think it's come up the same way it's come up in every relationship. But for me, it's like for us, we're pretty. I don't know. I trust her. She trusts me, and like she understands it. Instagram's pretty mindless. Like that's the point I'm making is like I'll scroll through Instagram and like I won't really know. Like I don't have any like current world news on my Instagram. It's literally motorcycles and dogs and hot chicks and fighting and tattoos. And like I could like a hot chick's butt picture the same way I could like a tattoo. Like it's just mindless. Like I'm just looking. It's just a 5-minute break for me. Like so I don't put a lot of thought into the stuff I like. I don't think she does really either. Instagram isn't real life. And I don't really follow like hot chick accounts. Like I don't like Instagram model chicks kind of annoy me with their posts, but I do follow like good photographers that will post hot chicks. So I think that's a little different too. Like I'm not out like thirst trapping hot chicks. Like let me scroll back 50 weeks and like her picture secretly. It's like I just follow some really good photographers that happen to take pictures of hot chicks. So, I follow photographers that take pictures of nature too. It's like if I see something on my Instagram, I like it. I don't put too much fucking thought into it, man. Like it's not real life,
Same here. Now, the fight this week, Masvidal versus Usman. Who do you like?
I don't know. Like, hard to call because Usman is dangerous everywhere. His stand-up looked good against Colby, and he's also a fucking monster of a wrestler. But, also Masvidal's hard to bet against, especially the way he's been looking lately. Is like, he's one of those guys that's, he had ups and downs in his career, but he's been consistently one of the best guys in the world. And when he's on, man, he's fucking on. Like, he's piecing people up. And I really like Masvidal, like as a person, man. I've only met him once or twice, so I don't know him well. I don't know either guys really well, but I like Masvidal. I like what he's about. I like the way he carries himself. I like his vibe, man. Like he seems like a real genuine motherfucker. Like we talked about a second ago, whoever you are, if you own that, I really respect it. And Masvidal seems like a dude who really knows who he is and owns it. And just seems like a good dude. I have the utmost respect for him. Both those guys, Usman seems like a good dude too. I don't think I've ever really met him, but he seems like a good dude. But I'd like to see Masvidal do good because he just seems like a fucking gangster. He seems real as fuck. So I would like to see Masvidal get that win and be big for him. He's been a guy who's been a contender for a long time, and getting that belt would be a huge thing, I think. So I'm excited to watch it. I don't really, man. Anytime people ask me about fights, it's hard because I'm just like when I watch other people fight, if it's not in my weight class, I'm a fan. Like whatever, I just like to. I've been a fan of fighting my whole fucking life, so I'm just trying to watch some good fights, man. I don't really pick I don't really bet. I don't really pick fight. I just like to watch fights and stuff. I'm a student of the game, bro. But it would be cool to see Masvidal win. I'd like to see Holloway win too, man. I got hell love for Holloway, dude.
Now, Holloway says, though, according to him, he's not sparred one round, and he has no training partners. You think he's telling the truth?
I don't know. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but I know he's one of the he's on paper right now he's the greatest featherweight ever. Like I have to believe in myself that I'm the greatest featherweight that's ever lived. Like and that's my mission in life is to prove that. I believe that I'm the greatest featherweight of all time, and I need to prove that to people. That's important to me. That's as a fighter, you have to believe you're the baddest motherfucker alive, and I believe that. I believe I'm one of the greatest fighters that's ever lived. Like when I look in the mirror, Andre Fili, am the greatest fighter that's ever lived. But Holloway right now is the best 45er ever, right? I mean, he's that dude. So, man, I don't know if going a couple months without sparring really fucking matters. Like I don't know. Like he obviously knows how to fight. He obviously has been in wars. He's been doing this a long time. He's taken damage in the cage. He's taken damage in in training. I'm sure. He had to pull out of a fight once because of a concussion. Like he's been hit before. He's been in wars. He's proven he can fucking fight and that he's tough. Maybe taking a couple months off of sparring is what he needed. This might be. I mean, look at Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson just lost for the first time in how long? And Tony Ferguson said a bunch of times he doesn't spar much. I have actually reduced the number of hard sparring rounds that I've gotten in my camps over the last 2 camps. I've never felt better, man. Like I'm all for reduced sparring and you might see the best Holloway we've ever seen. Who knows?
I love that guy,
dude. He's the best. What can you say about him? He's not even as a fighter, as a person, man. He's a good dad. He's a good champion. He's a great fighter. He's just a good dude. Like I have no that's my homie. There's not a lot of guys you'll hear in my own weight class that I'll say is my homie, but Holloway's the homie, man. I anytime Holloway fights, I unless it's against me, anytime he fights.
Were you now
for him.
Frankie Edgar Munoz tested positive for COVID, so he pulled out. Edgar was for an opponent. Were you thinking about it, or your hands too fucked up?
Thinking about fighting Edgar?
Yeah.
No, man. I have pins in my hand as we speak, so it's not really an option for me. I thought it was at 35.
Oh, right. He's at 35. Right.
I'm too big. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
hold on. I can't. Wait, hold on. I can't flex that one because my.
I always think I can't think of him as a 35 pounder.
Hold on, bro. Don't disrespect me with the. I'll never make 35. I'm built like a brick shit house.
I want to see him versus O'Malley. That'll be a fun fight.
That'd be fun. I think Sean O'Malley's a great fighter and he's up and coming and he's knocking people out. I don't know. I got to tread lightly, I guess, what I'm about to say, but I don't like to see guys who have been around a long time fight up and comers. I know to some degree that's the way the sport works, right? To some degree, there's gatekeepers and there's elite fighters and there's up and comers and they all have to mix. Like that's how you find out the hierarchy, and that's basically our whole fucking job. But I do think there's some point of diminishing return on that. Like I do think at some point we should build a culture around taking care of the guys who have been around.
But I love it when it doesn't work. I love it like when Chrome Gracie got beat up by Cup.
Yeah.
I love it when the old guy takes a young guy to school.
Yeah, 100%, man. I have been told before. Hey, we're not going to give you that fight. We don't want you to fight so-and-so because, or we don't want you to fight this guy, or we don't really like this fight because he's a guy that's been around a long time and he's got a couple more in him and this and that, like, so I hope that when I'm 40 years old,
you're not.
I don't, when I'm 40 years old, I'm going to establish myself as one of the greatest fighters in the sport. So when I'm 40 years old, I want to have big money fights, super fights, whatever, fights that matter, but I don't want to be the guy that they're trying to fucking give some up. When they book fights like Yair versus BJ Penn, when I see a fight like that, when I see a fight like that, I think for what fucking reason? And that's not disrespect because Yair's a great fighter and BJ is someone I looked up to since I was fucking 15. I mean, BJ was my hero for a long time, man.
Like Diego Sanchez versus some up and coming killer.
Right. What the fuck is the point of that? Right. Like I don't need to see Diego. Like, and again, Mike Chiesa, a guy who he's a great dude. Great dude. But I don't need to see him beat the hell out of Diego Sanchez.
Right.
I don't need to say it. I know you could like count it as and this is no, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but call it what the fuck it is. That's a buy. Like that's like a buy round in a tournament, right? Like you could just as well. Like I would rather just think, okay, well, maybe skip that. Like maybe just let's go to the next one. Who would he fight if he beat that guy? I don't need to see a guy who has taken thousands of strikes fight a dude who's way bigger and better.
It worked when it was Faber versus what's his name? They were kind of trying to build up the kid in Faber.
Ricky Simone. Yeah, it also worked. It also worked when Faber beat up McDonald.
Yeah.
I mean, it does work. It's cool to see, but I think that's different. And again, maybe I'm going to sound like an asshole here, and I don't mean to. I have respect for everybody, but like I said, keep it real. Like Faber is a different animal, right? Like Faber for his entire career was having 5-round fights against the best guys in the world. He didn't get the UFC title, but he had the WEC title for fucking years. He was that guy. Faber's never even against you go back and watch the Peter Yan fight, man. Like Faber's never got his ass beat. He's been stopped. He's had fights that go better than others, but you never watched a Faber fight and go, oh man, he's getting fucking ragdolled. He's getting beat up. That's a 10-8 round. Like some of these other guys you watch and you just go, man, like you see Peter Yan and Faber and you go, oh man, or you Peter Yan and Uriah and you go, oh man, Uriah's holding his own. Even if he loses the round, it's a competitive round. You see some of these other guys who are getting older. It's not competitive.
The Eddie Wineland fight against the kid, his last fight against what's
O'Malley. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a hard finish. And Weidland's a dude who's been around for a long time. He's a fucking gangster. He's a gamer. You know, I don't think you've seen him get beat up too bad, but you know that was a rough one. Obviously, I think you know Diego Sanchez is a great example more than anyone else. Like Diego should be a guy who you can't protect people in the sport, but you can look out for them a little bit.
Right.
You can make fights that make sense.
Yes.
Right? You can make fights that are entertaining and are valid without.
Yeah, that's why, like,
You know.
Jimmy Rivera's name got brought up against Frankie Edgar. I think that's a good fight. Both
Yeah.
those guys, yeah. That's a perfect fight.
Right. Competitive fight, 100%. Yeah, competitive fight. Rivera's fucking good, dude. Rivera's slept on.
Yeah.
Rivera's really fucking good. And Frankie's still good. I'm not calling Frankie an old guy. I'm just saying I think certain fights should make sense. I think O'Malley versus Edgar is still competitive, right? Like I'm not counting anybody out. I just think that I think that sometimes fights get made that you look at and everyone goes, why the fuck are we doing that? Right?
Yeah, I 1,000%. 1,000. I mean, Shogun's last couple fights or Little Nog against some of these guys. Just like what?
Right. What's the objective here? Right.
1,000%. So where can people find your new music?
My band is called Born Breach, and
is it a rap band? Is it rock? What kind?
No, it's kind of a mix of shit. I don't know, man. It's got some sort of like it's got some it's kind of hip hop and punk mix with my guitar. My guitar says some real cool metal-y stuff. Like we're all super influenced by Rage Against the Machine. You'll hear that a lot, basically. I think you'll hear a lot of that influence in there, hopefully. And I don't know, man. Yeah. Hopefully people like it. If they don't, whatever. Tell me if you love it, if you hate it. People, let me know. If you go on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Tidal, everything, just Born Breach.
Well, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. Good luck with your move.
Yeah.
Anything
Thanks
you
for having me, dude.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Later.